All right, thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I trust you had a nice conversation today. So please, if you can hear me, can you just comment on the chat box so that I'll be able to know that we are together. Today's class, we have talked about grid and flex. In our previous classes, I discussed about some implementation of grid and flex. Today, I would like us to do a mini project that require using grid. It's on the front end mentor, but I couldn't lay my hand on the file. I was able to crop it or somehow, or I have it here that we can use to practice or maybe a grid. So you try some aspect of grid. I will not be talking majorly about the question that's been asked. Several mentors have discussed about it, so I will not be talking about that for today. We'll be doing a mini project. So if you are fine with that, let me know in the comment section. So I want us to do a front-end mentor challenge, and hopefully it will be interesting to you. Just that I will not be starting from the beginning. So there's some the basic CSS and HTML. I will not be doing that. So I will expect you to have an idea about it. So I'm trying to see the comments now. Okay, we are only having 12 people. Hopefully it will be interesting to you. Just that. Okay. Okay. Now. Okay. That's fine. We're having fewer people here. What's happening? Is my class not that interesting? So now, okay, we'll be doing a mini project. I don't know. Let me see if I have it here. Okay, this is where I use the sniping tool. Let me see if I save it somewhere here on my screen. Okay, could it be this? Yeah, this is it. Okay, now, okay, this is it. We have this layout now that we can all see. If you can see it, please let me know. We have this layout. Yeah, okay, I can also see it. We have this layout now, and we want to see a way how we can implement it with grid. With grid. If you look at this type of layout is two-dimensional. You can see this one is spanning here, and this one is coming like this, two-dimensional. So things like this, it's more better to use grid, and it's very, very simple. So now that will take me to the code. I already have a boilerplate. So please let me know. I am not seeing I'm not seeing this interactive. If you are here with me, let me know. Let me know if you are here. I'm only seeing 15 people on the call and fewer people interacting about it. All people are yet to be done with the meeting with the coordinator. Hi, please, I asked a question on the form and I have not been answered. Okay, yeah, okay. Maybe towards the end of this class, I will check the question, and if you can put the question here, if it's something I can answer, attend to urgently. But I want us to do something X, so that's why. So okay, yeah, I can see some. I cannot see some familiar faces. Sunday Yusuf. Okay, yeah, okay, Becca. Okay, that's fine. So we'll see how we can implement this with grid. We'll see how we can implement this with grid. Okay, that's fine. So what I'll be doing here is I have the code here already. It's not that I'm just starting it. I have the code here already, but I only have the basic, which I'm going to be explaining to you. This repo is being forked from it's a fork repo, so I'll be explaining this. The meeting is still on. Victoria Johnson. Victoria Johnson, you sound familiar. Please, can you message me? I'm seeing this your picture. I'm seeing looks familiar that I know you somewhere apart from here. Can you message me on Slack? You, you look familiar apart from this place. Oh, the meeting is still on. If the meeting is still on, wow. Then I was in the Zoom meeting. Okay, it's time for our class now. So if you are just joining, I said we want to implement something like this. Want to implement something like this and using grid system. So we want to implement this. Okay, if you are just joining, so this is what I want us to implement like this. How we can have this type of layout with grid. Very simple, especially with grid. Sometimes when Flexbox give me issue, what I do is that, oh, you can't keep me. So I will just move immediately to grid because it's simple and it's somehow, let me say, mathematical. You can easily see it. You can easily visualize it compared to um compared to Flexbox. So okay, so if you are just joining, this is what we'll be doing today. Now, as I was saying earlier, I said I have the HTML setup, HTML and some minor CSS setup. You can see that in our body, our main here is the okay, thank you. Our main here is the container for all this article. We're having like 5 articles here. Okay, let me zoom in because I can see that my screen is somehow tiny. So okay, we're having like 5 articles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one. So we're having 5 articles. So inside main, just this is really semantic because as they have said, make sure you're only having one main section. You're only having one main element in your project, especially in a page. You should have one main. That's just the best way. Okay, so we have this. Our main here is the container for these articles. So in the article, we really have something like we have a class of article like this, blah blah blah. So we have a div that have an image. We have also a div that have the name and the position, and we are all having paragraph. So the same thing for other articles here. We're having image, the name, the position, and yeah. So that's all what we are having. We have the image, the image, blah blah blah. So these are what I have. These are just something basic, and I've separated these. So I will be comment. I've separated into 2, just like I've explained before. And there's something I also want to explain now in this code. You can see it's not from me; it's from Kevin Powell. So this is just being for. But I want to use this to explain the concept of grid. You can see now inside, if you look at this code now, this is our root here. We have a color of 400. These are just better way. This is using HSL, and now we don't need to be using HSL again. All these things work without putting the HSL. That's one of the updates in CSS. Now you can see now we're having all this kind. We're having our variables declared here. Just like I've explained earlier, you should use this. You should use CSS reset. So this is what we are having here. The CSS reset that I showed you the other time is what we are having here. Our main height here is 100 VH. Most time, I usually prefer you putting our main height should be 100%. But because we are not scrolling down, we are not having a lot of things inside the page. So that's why it's going to be 100 VH. But if you're having like we need to be scrolling, I prefer to be using 100%. Okay, now you can see if you check the CSS reset, these are just code from that CSS reset I showed you the other time. Now there's something I want to talk about using variable. When you're using variable, okay, it's been here. When you're using variable, you can always have a fallback value. For example, now suppose I'm using let's say here I'm using FW of or 400. Let's say that's font width. Assuming I'm coming here now, I'm saying, and I say font width. Our font width here should be var this. This is correct. But you can also put a fallback value. If this 400 is not being provided, what do you want to use? I want to use 500 here. So now this will work. So if, for example, I delete this var 400 here, your code will not still break. Your code will not still break. It is going to use this 500. So I don't know if this is being explained in the video you watch on CSS video, but this is just a better illustration actually. So now I'll be commenting this. So these are the basic CSS we have. So these are the basic CSS we have, and I believe it's just something you are all aware of using. We have CSS resets, and we only have our root variable, and our testimonial is just having a font size of FS400 padding, and I'm giving our width. There's a function or a property or a method called min. It takes two values. It takes the one that is minimum, and there's another one called max. So you can also use max here instead of min. So max, min will always take the minimum between 95% of the width you are having, or this or 70% rem. So now this is what we are having here. I can delete this now. If I go to my index.html now and I open this with live server, let's see what we have. So this is what we have here. And why do we have it? Normally, this is just a block. I'll be zooming it like this. This is just a block. And this is how I link my CSS. I have grid. So this is the main. So this is where I want to write the grid task. So I'll be using grid.css. Why have you given the main a width? Actually, please, always, one good thing is that always avoid in CSS to avoid you writing a lot of code. One, to help you avoid writing a lot of code. One, and to make your work easier, avoid giving a width. When you give a fixed width, for example, now, especially if you are working on endpoints, suppose now I say my name is Isiaka, and I just give it a width of, let's say, 30 pixels. Now, what if someone comes with my name is Isiaka and have a longer name than mine? That, because the fixed width you have given will make that text to overflow. Will make the text to overflow that container. So it's better either you give a main width, or you should give it just a width of 100%. So here now we are just giving. If you check the style of CSS here now, in our body we are having a main width of 100 pixel, 100 VH. That means it should cover the total height of our browser. So now we are using a display of grid, place item, place content should be center. Now this place content should be center is just a way of, instead of you using align item, justify our place item center, align item center, this place item to center will just center it. So this is another way of centering item in CSS, display grid and place item center. Normally, if you are using Flexbox, you have to do something like this. If I save this now, you have to use something like this. Display flex, and you come here and say justify content should be center, and align item here should also be center. So this, if you are using Flexbox, but if you are using grid, this is just enough to place the item in the center. So this is what we are having. So this is what we are having here. This is the basic we are having here now. Now, if I expand my screen now better, you can see we are having them stacking on top of each other, which is normal. article is a block level element, so we are all stacking on each other. Now, if you go to okay, Sliver Code, yeah, you're highly welcome or you're highly cited. Good morning. So if you look at it here, they are all articles. They are stacked on top of each other. Yeah, which is being expected. So now let me find a way. We have it here. Yeah. So we have it stacked on top of each other now. Now we want to go to our grid.css now. The first thing we want to towards fulfilling this is our design. This is what we are going to. Towards fulfilling it, we need to make it a layout. So we have to display, we have to use our grid. Now, and the container here, the container we are having here is testimonial grid. So I can copy this here, this class of testimonial grid now. I can collapse this, still the same thing. Now I will go to my grid.css. I need to delete those I don't need here. So now I can just come in and say display of grid. Yeah, if you look at it here, nothing happened. Yeah, that's what happened. You know, in CS, in Flexbox, when you say display of grid, display flex, the item if Silver Code, welcome. Good morning. Okay, by now you're supposed to be able to hear me clearly. Please, if you are still having issue hearing me, please, you can just you can make a comment again. I can hear everyone. So now this is what we have here now. We're having it here. So I can open okay, this is my browser here. Now I've said display should be flex. Silvaco, if you are talking, you are muted.
You have to share your screen.
I have to share my screen. That's true. Thank you. Okay. I'll have to share my screen. Okay, now, yeah, I'm sharing my screen now. I guess you should be able to see my screen now. So now, by writing a display of grid, nothing happens here. You can always, if you search through Frontend Mentor, though I wasn't able to do, if you search through Frontend Mentor, you will definitely see this challenge on it. So now, by saying display of grid, nothing happens. But if I inspect, just like I said, Firefox is better when you are doing CSS. You can be able to visualize what you are doing perfectly. Yeah. Welcome everyone. It's fine that you are joining the class. I hope you enjoyed the session with Mr. Fee, as we just said. So we have it like this now. If you look at it now, there's already grid here, so you can see all this. We'll talk about this grid line very soon. Now, for you, anything you are going to be doing in grid, you have to define it. Flexbox defines some things for you, but when you say display of flex, already by saying display of flex, your flex direction is already in row, your flex wrap is no wrap. What other things that has been defined by you just saying display of flex? All this property will be, and I'm very sure this website will be defined. Yeah, you can say your flex is 0, 0, 0, and is it max content? Yes, because you can by saying display of flex, your align item is flex stats, and your align item at the main direction at the main axis is stretch, while your justified content is flex stat. All these things are being defined for you when you just say display of flex. But when you are working with grid, display of grid doesn't change anything. It only makes the container a grid, let's say a grid container. So you need to define a lot of things. So we can also use W3 school to see some of the property we have in grid. So now for you to be able to, from what we have here, if you look at what the design we have here, we have, like, let's say we have 3 columns. From what you can see here, it looks like 3 columns, but there are, let's say, 3 uneven column. So now the best way to do it is to find a way to make sure that, or interpret it in a way that it looks like they are equal columns. So if you look at it here now, from how this thing looks, you can, this here in purple, it can be broken down into 2. You can say this. I don't know if I can edit. Let me see if this editing works. Okay, if I can write here. So we can break this one here now. So let's say this can be 1, and why this can be 2. This one can be 3, and this can be 4. So, but we have 5 articles. But the way it's been broken down, we can say we have like 4 columns here. So this one too will be 1, another 2, this is another one 3, and here will be 4. So definitely now we need 4 columns. I believe you can see my screen now. Definitely now we need 4 columns to do this these tasks. So now that's where we have that's where we now go to grid template column. Yeah. So this is the grid. These are the elements here. I want us to. We also have inline grid. So these are, for those of you, this row and these are the column. As I was explaining, we need 4 columns. So these are the columns. Okay, and in between them is what we call gap, which we are going to go. We have column gap and we have row gap. So let's just continue with our explanation. Now we need 3. Okay, we need 4 column. As I've earlier explained here, we need 4 column. So what we are going to do before that, we can add space. There's what we call a row gap and a column gap. We have row gap. Our row is this. If I say row gap here should be 1.5 rem. You can see now there's space here, but you can also have something we call column gap. Our column gap here too is also 1.5 rem. So that column gap is what we have if they are, assuming we still display of flex, if they are beside each other, you definitely see the column gap. So instead of writing this, I can just write gap. The gap here is that you give it, if I say 1.5 rem, that will stand for the row. 1.5 rem also stand for the column. This is a better way of writing it. And also, if I give it a single value, that means all of both column and the row will be having this 1.5. Okay, it's fine if you are just joining. I just hope you can catch up with it. What we're saying now, we are going to be having we are going to be having, I'm going to be explaining grid. Last two classes I've explained flex box and flex container and flex item. Though we didn't spend much time explaining flex item, but I believe other mentors will, or in subsequent classes, all other mentors will talk about it also, or they have talked about it. So I'm very sure about that. So, but I just saw that project on about front end mentor challenge, and I think we can do it something similar with grid. So now we have the gap of 1.5. So there are some decent spacing. So this is it. We have decent spacing. This look nice, but this is not where we are going. So we have this as 1.5. Now, what I want is that I want 4 column. And how do we create that 4 column? That's what we say. We have grid template. Grid template column. That's what we use. If I come here and I say grid template column, you can see specify as a space separated track list. The line, okay. So this template column is how you want the column to be. How many columns do you want it to be? So for example, now if I say 200 pixels, so I'm just saying I just only want one column of a width of 200 pixels. So all of them, this is one column, this is another column, and this the third column. Well, it looks nice like this, but obviously this is not where we are going. I can also give it another one, making 200 pixels here. So now we are going to be having 2 columns. And one thing I would just advise is this. You can see now I'm not setting a row. I'm not setting row here, but automatically it's giving row. One good thing I learned from watching some, especially Kevin Powell video, is that you should avoid setting grid template row. Avoid setting row, because one thing is that it automatically creates row itself. For example, now I've only created 2 columns, but because others are not beside, but because it's 2 columns I created, others will form that same column under it. So now you can see now I'm having 5 items. So the space for the 6th one is here. So I don't need to define any grid. I've been looking for you, Chiamaka. I've been looking for you because you are my what do I call it? You are my class rep on YouTube. So I've been looking for you in one way or the other. So welcome. So we have 200 pixels, 200 pixels. So we can also write 200 pixels here. Making 3. It will always create 3. So we are having 3 here. But don't forget we are going to 4. So we are having 4 here. So these are the 4 columns we actually want. These are the 4 columns we actually want. So by the virtue of this, it looks nice, but there are other ways in grid. The better option you should use is what we call fraction, FR, so that it will just take the width of the container. It will take the width of the container and it will give it a one. Like for example, now if you're having we're having 5 items, and let's assume the width is 1000 pixels. So it would, when you say 1FR, that will be 1/5 of 1000 pixels is what each item will be taken. That will create a uniform value, instead of using pixels. So it's better we are going to be using 1FR. So now we can come here and say 1FR. Most especially in grid, this is what you'll be seeing. Only in rare cases you see them using either pixels or 1FR, 1FR, and 1FR. That is, I've written 5, if I'm not mistaken. I've written 5, so and I'm going to 4. So I can come here now and just leave it as 4. So now we are having this. There is a method in CSS, we call it repeat, because if I'm just repeating myself, and just like I said earlier,
Can't hear you again, no, I'm lying. I, oh, right. think this network that's technical issues and it will be resolved very soon. Yeah, I hope everybody's fine. I hope everybody's enjoying class so far. Uh, how is everybody going? Yeah, my class today could not hold around 10 o'clock due to the fact that I we had to do the Shay conversation class, which was very needed, and I hope it went well. Okay. Oh, great that you guys are enjoying it. Wow, everybody is still catching up with how the program is going so far. No challenges, no issues. I feel now people should know the difference between HTML skeleton and the rest, and how to build them also. Ah, good. So glad you guys. So while we wait for our main, just question are you what question are you having with regards this training so far? Next class we'll be able to talk about that. So maybe we complete our building. I think the next class I'll be having, or it will be on Sat on Saturday. Yes. My own voice is breaking too. Ah, hello. How about responsiveness? We'll discuss about responsiveness in our next class. We'll discuss about responsiveness in our next class. Oh, Aisha, just send me a message on Slack. You are trying to link your font family to CSS. Just send me a message on Slack. Send me a message on Slack. Can you hear me now? Oh, responsiveness is among the criteria that will be grading you for the last week task. Those that are trying to get you, yes, can make you responsible, but it's not among the criteria. So it's only just only to improve your knowledge about it. Oh, responsiveness among the criteria. Ah, How do you add font to CSS style sheet? Elijah Webmaster, I think, what is it called? You probably have to DM me or watch the Sunday tutorial. We spoke about it. Yeah, exactly, Chiamaka. That is actually very possible. So you can actually submit now and you'll finish it up later. That's very, very possible.
Slipper Code, can you hear me? Good morning. Hello.
Choice back is trying to. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Are you on? Are you discussing anything with them?
I was only taking questions from them, but I think you can continue.
Please just continue. Let me come back in 5 minutes. This my network issue has not been solved.
Okay. Okay, guys, and I think this will be coming up in a few minutes, a few seconds. So, yes. Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, guys. Even though I know it's almost the end of the class, and I'll just take over from here. And so, let me just say, welcome to Silver Coast class, kind of mixed with Isiaka's class. And I hope you guys can hear me. I hope everyone is doing well and everybody can hear me. I would like to know if everyone can hear me. Just send a message. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please, I would like you to send a message. Okay, good and fine. So let's see what we can actually do. I know that we don't have much time, and I would have loved us to continue our dodo site that we're building. But I know we don't have much time, and I would really love us to continue. So, what do you guys suggest? Should we just use the next 15 minutes to talk about it or something? Let me just know in the comments below. Okay, we can continue about that. Okay, good and fine. So let me just stop sharing my screen. Let me open my one love. Let me look for it real quick. And I think I was using Replit that day. So let's look for Adodo site. Hope you see there. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, I'm still here. Okay. So let me open up the site we were building before. I've not touched this since that Sunday, so I was ready for everybody before we complete it. Now, this is what we have. Okay. So we've been able to get this to this part of it, even though ours is not fully looking like its own, which let me reduce this. Okay. So this is what we have. So one thing I would like to do is I would love to bring this thing down to the center. As you can see, the head part is at the center or something. So I would love to bring this image down to the center. And let me see what I told you people how I can bring images down and make something in the center. What element am I to use? Who can suggest that for us? Who can tell me what element I'm supposed to use? Okay, among me, among me, please, what's the question? Please let me look for Momu's question so that she won't spam the chat that she said. Okay, please, I noticed that the grade.image is not opening on Replit website. The website only displays the flexbox, which is the index. I would like to know if you can submit the Replit URL like that. Okay, for that assignment, what I suggest everybody should do is, what I expected to do is, after you probably this is what is it called? The index.html, just add a link anywhere and say grid task. Add a link, something like this. Add a link that just says grid task anywhere. It can be a button or anything. So grid task. And this should lead you to your, what is it called? This should lead you to another page. So what I expect from everybody is you're submitting just your index, but write a place where somebody can click to move to grid task. So if I click on grid task, it should not take me to where the grid task is. So I hope this will have answered the question, number me. Yes, same. You can use same. Diggy word, you can use same. You can use same CSS. It doesn't really matter. But what matters most is how your HTML is structured, and also want to be sure that you're using flex and you're using grid. That's what matters. Okay. So I would like to bring it into the center. We built this one in our last, which I know would continue building. And I also share the source code on Slack. The source code is on Slack. I send the source code to Slack. That's this. I send it to Slack. So I would also share it after this after this class. Okay, great. I've answered your question. So now first thing first, and like I said, I want somebody to suggest how I can bring this into the center. This to be in line with the on kind of same rule. Somebody tell me kind of enough to show the great art, and I'm sure the Isiaka started with, so I think you can just start the stated about the grade or say you with it. Okay. Now index, since I'm not this down, I will locate my, and I'll be giving my section one a property called align on a single file. When they say align on a straight line, when we were in school, then that means all of us should be on a straight line, and there's nothing like maybe woggy or something. even though some may be taller or shorter, but it's just going to be on a single file so that it will be well structured. So align item center, I'll look for my section 1. Then here I'll just do align items center. Then let me refresh and see what I have. Okay. So this is what I have. I see now it has brought it down to the center for me, which almost looks like we've been able to achieve. Now would love to do again in this class, even though it's very short, is of this. There's always a responsive property that you should always keep there. Either max width 100 or no 1000 pixel. Let me check something out. Everything is online, so you may not even need to give yourself a whole lot of headache for you to say you are trying to fix something. Everything you need is online. Okay, it's screen, and like I said, everything is online, so don't give yourself the headache of trying to solve everything by yourself. And funny enough, at some point that you may not code some things, and it will just be, what is it called, a tutorial that would help you code everything. So always try to use your resources, make use of your resources very well, and you'll be great. Yeah, Michael Tobichuku, thank you. Can you guys hear me? How come Naisha said she's not hearing me? Emanuela said she can hear me. So, hello. Please drop a comment below if you can hear me.
Sailor Code, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me also.
Okay. I can hear you. Yeah. So we have this. For those people asking about middle query, for you to add a middle query, you first of all need this element. Anything you want to do, either min width or max width. Having this property helps you specify the screen size you are trying to like say. If you know when you say max width, that means the maximum width should not be more than this. Then if you say min width, which is minimum width, I've already said this before. CSS is English language. CSS is English language. Media screen and width, that is media, the screen, and what width. So you can also add two things together. You can say media screen, max width, and mini width. But I'll not be going deep into that today. I'll just be talking about these minimum ones. So for you to do media query, it's always very easy. Ensure that the big one is always above while trying to do the next one. Then whatever you are trying to media screen is just this tag. For example, you want to style this tag on a media query. You pick the CSS part. You can pick this, copy here, paste it. Then now I have, what is this called? Max width 1000. So at 1000, this is my style, but I want to change it. At max width, I want to make this 100. Then I also want to add an element to it, because now if you see, let me resize my screen. I don't know, can you still hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Me, I can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. So as you can see, it's not responsive enough on large screen. See the way everything just looks bobby and very big, and it's not good. So if I'm trying to do media query, the first thing I can try to target is I can target every CSS property on media query. If I'm doing media query, I can target every CSS property. So I see that this one is too big, and I'm like, this thing is why is it even this big? Did I change something? Okay. So I can see that at this screen 1000, I want to make this one fall down. I want to make it come under beneath this so that they can just be on a column way. There's a property in this that I've told people about, which is the flex direction, how to structure your code, which is display flex direction. They work hand in hand. These four elements work hand in hand. Display flex direction, justify content, and align items. They work hand in hand. And if you need to use any flex property, you must call the display flex property first. Without the display flex, it won't work. So this display flex property is very, very important. So because I've called this and I've already told the display flex property automatically, display flex is taking flex direction role. And I noticed, I saw in today's class, Mr. Isiaka spoke about it, of how flex direction works, and he explained how display flex also works. So I don't think I'll be going deep into how display flex and flex direction works. I'll just only discuss what is expected. So because I know that role is the default for display flex, and this already is in a row format, but now I want to make it to come down, like to be underneath. Let me reduce this. Yes, to come down. So what I will just do is go to my property and say is English language flex direction column. And if I should refresh this, because I said as mark with 1000, what should happen? Let me bring this to 1000. 1000, then I press enter. So at max with 1000, see what happened? It brought it down, but when I exposed, and also you remember I put this one at 100%, no more 80. So it simply means I can use this display flash property to style anything. I'll just be calling my CSS, calling anything I want to do, even though I've started it in the normal place, but I must call this property first. This thing is very, very important. Then if I want to say min width too, it will also work that way. So one thing I would advise you people, since we are in this class now, is time up, is just ensure that you look at this property and play around with it, and ensure that you always call your tag, what you want to style, call it here. Cascading style sheet takes things from up and it's only responds to the last one. So don't do this. Don't do something like this. No, this is wrong. It should always be beneath it. It should always be something like this. Okay, with this being said, in my next class, I would ensure I focus more on media query so that we'll be able to get what we need and how we can do it. Okay. Thank you very much for joining today's class, and I seriously hope our next class will be very better, and I can assure you that it will be better than this, and very, 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 very well, and we'll be able to go faster and better in whatever we are doing. Thank you guys, and also have a blessed day
Okay,
ahead.
thank you everyone for joining. I think you can hear the class.